Today on the show, we're going to be introducing ourselves and talking about stories we've got from the past and people we might bring on in the future. Let's start the show. The Tungsten Show. Welcome to the...
Well, that was good, isn't it?
That was pretty good. Welcome to the Tungsten Show, guys.
Welcome. So, yeah, this is the show, podcast about light, right?
Cinema lighting.
Lighting
in the film industry.
How about, Morgan, you explain a bit about yourself? Who are you? Where you come from?
So I'm from Sheffield originally. Moved down around 3 years ago to London. I do sparking, gaffing, and I DP on a couple of things here and there. Yeah.
We basically met in university, right, in London.
Yeah.
That's where we met. But once you came here, I know you just were all into technology of cameras, right?
Yeah, so I was very techie to start with, and you know, one of those kind of the typical person who's thinking, oh, it's all about the tech, it's about the next piece of equipment. I think once you get into lighting and you start looking at the serious side of it, you start realizing it's not about all the newest technology. And I think that's part of the origin of the name The Tungsten Show. So we just thought, you know what, sometimes it's not about the new best light, like the new LED light. Really, it can be that classic look that really can bring.
Is that why you came up with this idea?
I think it is. I think it's just...
On the record, it was Morgan's idea for how to name this podcast. The Tungsten Show, that's his idea, so...
Thank you.
Let's clap on it.
So, Edzus, tell us about kind of your introduction into the industry, how you got into lighting, a bit about Chernobyl. You can drop that card.
Right, yeah, well... Right, to be honest, when I came here, I come from Latvia, so that's where I started everything, and I did start my whole film thing when I was still 14. A friend of mine, Yanis, we basically went windsurfing, and we filmed windsurfing, and that's where I got into cameras, video, editing, stuff like that.
We both got in a very similar way. It's the action sports
entry. Sports, yeah. That's what...
GoPros,
common for
that
us.
kind of just seeing something exciting and just going, look, let's just film it.
Let's do some sick edits. And then from there I moved on to, I got my first internship in Latvia for editor in a house for, basically it's one of the best commercial productions that creates commercials for Latvian companies. Actually, they do work in Europe throughout the world, but they mainly are based in Latvia, and they do work for clients for Estonia and Lithuania, if that makes sense. So they work on commercials, those high-end stuff commercials, scripted ones. An editor there took me as an intern, and I feel like that was my first step in professional industry where I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And because editor showed me all of these bits, so she showed me all this post-production, world.
You get to see all the stuff that's been on set. You get to see that, and you're seeing it all go through.
One of my first jobs there was to go on and shoot making of one of their commercials. So that's what I did. I filmed it, I edited it. He also gave me some old materials of other commercials. He gave me to try and edit them from storyboards, and just the stuff that normally public people don't see, like that sort of. And it's his name is Andres Grants, and he's a great guy.
But yeah, so you got in.
So I got in post. So I got that. After that, I worked as an editor. Literally a month after I got a job in a company as a main editor, video editing director. Worked there for 2 years for action footage, sports type of footage. So my kind of thing.
Yeah, you're in a lot of Kickstarter things, but I suppose
that's the Kickstarter thing.
That really, you can't have had that much lighting.
No. It was all just literally videography and editing. I was really professional from the post-production perspective, but I didn't know much about filming. All I did just know I have had a practice with this camera, that camera, and I just took it.
So tell me then, when me and, for a bit of context, when me and Edzus met, he wasn't down the camera route in any way, shape or form. He was so certain with lighting, and there was no way to persuade him otherwise. And to be honest, at that point, I was a bit like, okay, yeah, it's one part of it.
When you met me, basically, that's when I was.
So how did you get to that?
Oh,
point?
right. So you didn't know that I was really willing to go in the camera route?
No, I mean, you were very much...
Yeah, well, after working in this post-production, I realized I kind of want to go on set. So I knew I don't like to sit at the computer in dark room all the time. So I decided I'm gonna go after high school. I was working part-time for that company when I was still in high school. It was very rough, but I can't even believe how I managed to do all of that thing at the same time. So I managed to finish high school. After high school, I moved to London Sandbach University, where I met you. And my idea was to go here into industry and on set, right? And I thought, okay, well, I have loads of experience with cameras, different types of cameras, so I should probably go camera route and pursue it to possibly potential cinematography, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what we all think. Everybody who goes to university, they either want to go to university to study film. Yeah. They either want to be a director or a cinematographer, really.
Head of department.
The majority, at least 90%.
Exactly. You want to do creative stuff, so exactly that's what you want to do.
But I think, when I started off, and I was thinking, look, I'll go into cinematography, I didn't realise the creativity that you get by being even just a spark on a smaller set.
True. I thought I'm a very technical person, and cinematographer's job, I thought, is being technical, taking directors' creative ideas and just translate them in practice. That's what I thought is cinematographer's job. But by working here now, I've realized that it's more complicated than that. And it's literally writing story visually, and it's more than just... Sometimes directors doesn't even know what visually they want, and then...
Let alone...
There are different types of directors, the different types of cinematographers, of course, but it's more than just that. So, but I've been always technical person. I'm kind of geeky about all these technical aspects of everything. So that's why I like post-production, because there's loads of those formats and blah blah blah, and how you do that, and techniques and softwares, this and that. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna be a camera technician. That's technical job, so I'll work as a camera trainee, work my way up there.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought that as well, and I got quite a funny story. I don't know, potentially I was with you at the time, but...
Was that last Christmas?
Might have been last Christmas, yeah.
We walked on it.
Yeah, we walked on it.
Because you walked on it, and then you...
And at this point in time, I was very much down the camera route.
Yeah, I was already in the lighting, really.
Edzus was like, I've got to find the
you were like, let's go and speak with camera department. I was like, I don't want to speak with them. I want to go in lighting. Why would I need to speak with them?
So we split ways.
We split ways at that time. That was like a year ago.
Let's say between a year or two ago.
I feel like that was a long time ago.
It does feel like ages. But yeah, so we went there, and I went onto the camera truck. I walked on, and I was looking for the ACs, and I said, look, I want a camera trainee. I want to do this. I want to eventually... They said, what do you want to do? What do you want to do eventually?
They said, remember that. That was
funny bit. They said, you've got cinematographer on your card. What the fuck are you doing?
That story is better than you're explaining. Basically, you walked there, you talk with them, right? I was there, I saw it all from the side. So you spoke with them. And they're like, yeah, you can come along. I'll give you some job if you want to be a camera trainer. You were excited. You're pumped. And they were like, can I get your number or something? You just gave your them business card, and then we walked off. And then we walked off to see some sparks, meet them. And after 5 minutes, walked past the camera crew again. And they were like, hey, Morgan.
Out, didn't they?
They literally shouted at you, hey, Morgan. And Morgan, and then you walked to them, and I was like, what's wrong? Felt a bit odd. Why they are suddenly calling you right through
sudden interest
in you, yeah. And then there was like a minute or two monologue onto you, how you shouldn't put on the
you shouldn't put cinematographer
on your
and just like without enough experience, and it's all this. But eventually, what they came down to, and they said, like, look, if you want to be a cinematographer, why the fuck are you trying to get into camera? They're saying, like, look, I was trying to get into cinematography. I'm stuck in the camera route. And then I was also... There was another guy over there, name probably Gary or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, Gary's, he's second AC and he's not going to be a cinematographer anymore. He's past it. And they said, like, look, you need to look into lighting. Like, if you really want to be a cinematographer, you need to light.
That kind of
sets
was your trigger
all
for
the time.
thinking
It
about
was.
lighting, right?
It was like you've got to light sets because that's the
Yeah.
way forward. That's the way you can.
I think that
learn
was the
process.
time when I told you were like, I'm a DP. I'm gonna be a big DP, right? That's what.
Yeah.
That was the
It's
time when
something
you were
that's-
like really excited being a huge DP, and I was always like, but Morgan, you don't have experience on a set as in any other way, like on the big sets as a smaller department, smaller thing. And you were like, why would I need that? I still remember you saying that, like, why would I need that experience if I can work on my own projects and just get my way out, which is fair. But then,
I mean, it was naive. It was naive.
It was very naive, yeah.
Looking back.
And
But people do it. People become cinematographers without going down lighting, without going down.
It is true. It is
AC.
possible. It's very possible nowadays. Except most of those cinematographers are not in a high-end industry. It's really. I kind of feel like you have to question yourself. Where do you want to end up being? You want to be in high-end film Hollywood things. Do you want to be cinematographer of that, or you want to be cinematographer of corporate stuff, commercials, and music videos? That's completely different niche of
because
industry.
there's people that make
Different
a lot of
thinking of-
music videos, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean in any way they're going to be able to go along and
and
make
they're
a
really
narrative.
good, and they're really good cinematographers. But the way music videos work is completely different way of how you make scripted content, and it's sometimes hard to go from one to another.
Mhm.
If you're established music video director or whatever, it's
Like
hard to
you
move
could
on.
make it, you could make it in music videos using Asteras every day, and then you could walk onto a narrative set and bring some Asteras, and
They're
they'd
just
be
not
like,
enough.
They'd just be like, "What the fuck are you
What the
doing?
fuck? Yeah,
Why
exactly.
are you
Doesn't
doing
work.
this?"
It just doesn't
The
work.
style is so different.
But I think we did talking about my story. We didn't come to that point where I decided to move into lighting, right?
Yes.
So I started to
yeah.
explain you. I also want to do camera, which you didn't really know about. So yeah, I wanted to do camera work, and I applied for every job I could, right? As a runner, as a camera assistant.
Just for context, everybody, this man applies for so many jobs. Like when I first met him, and we were both applying for jobs, I thought I was trying, and then I would look, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, he would have spent the previous day applying for like 200 roles. He would go through the entire of Facebook and Mandy and just apply to everything. Absolutely
Every
everything.
job. I wasn't looking for a particular thing. I was just going for everything that's around the set work. In camera, lighting, running, AD department, anything. I just want to be on set, right? Because I love to be on set. And then I tried to go into camera. That's what I was trying, thinking, okay, I'll need to do that. I need to make myself successful in camera department. But somehow I failed to get proper jobs for camera. But then I got that one job, which was short film, which was advertised on our Facebook group and university's Facebook group. And it was the short film where they were looking for a spark. And it was paid. It was £19 per day, which by that time
as
was
your
more than
first
minimum.
Spark job, that's fucking great.
Exactly, yeah, I haven't
I mean,
done
the
any,
amount of freebies
and I
I've
have
done.
applied, and I sent an email. Look, I have touched these and these lights, sort of, have experience, but I really don't know what I was doing by that time,
You've got to bullshit a little bit at the start.
I didn't bullshit. I just told these are I named equipments what I have had touched, I have worked, but I didn't understand who they really are. What is it? Just had them on the set.
It's
and
not
I
necessarily
played with
bullshit.
them.
It's really
It's not bullshit,
exaggerating.
still,
You've got to exaggerate because if you don't
I have to
push.
express myself. I have to tell who I am, right? So I said that in my email, and I put my CV with all those university low budget crap I had there and loads of editing.
Shit. Yeah.
So my CV looked very bad by that time, and I was lucky one because I got chosen from 4 people, and to be funny, it was only 4 people who applied, which wasn't that bad. It wasn't that hard.
Yeah. And I
And
suppose
it was
that's
like against 400.
for anybody at university studying film. If any opportunities come up, don't assume everybody's applying to them, because actually what happens is nobody applies because everybody thinks everyone's applying for it.
Yeah, so they're not going to.
So nobody applies.
Yeah.
So actually, I've had multiple opportunities through Facebook with university, probably less so, but Facebook in itself, everybody's thinking, I'm going to apply.
bizarre.
Like everyone's applying to that. So when you apply to it, it's like, oh shit, I got the job. It was actually a lot easier than you think.
So easy, yeah. So I got that job, and that was Jules Cossair's short film. She's now a big producer. She did Catherine the Great. She did The Guild TV series, TV drama. Yeah. That's Sky TV. It's BBC. So she's in high-end stuff now, and she's the big producer doing all of that producing thing. She's very, very well established, and I met her on that job, and she did drive motorcycle, and I drive motorcycle, and that's how we met, and now we are really good relationship, sort of, we are good friends and I even introduced her with my mom, because my mom also drives motorcycles. Funny, but it helps to keep those connections, to have something more common than just film. It's very important.
Yeah.
And on this job, that there was a great gaffer, David Owen, and he taught me everything. He took me as his. He was like my professor there for 3 days, 12 hours a day, and he was like one-to-one, sort of private.
Yeah.
I didn't know the thing. I didn't know how knuckle is called. I didn't know what it is. I didn't know, what's the C stand.
And you've got to have that at some point.
And he was like, look, this is arm, this is knuckle, right? You turn it this way, you do that, go. I was like, the
But isn't it amazing, like, how much you can learn from one person in comparison to, I'd even say 2 years at university. 2 years at university.
Oh, you can't compare that. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't.
Because if also it's being on set and it's going like, here are the basics, figure it out. And once you get that opportunity to get the basics very quickly, get put under the pressure.
You're under pressure.
Fix the problems, and that pressure it forces the knowledge into your brain. Yeah. It really does. And if it's after that first opportunity,
I learned so much, and I realized, this is nice. I like it. I like lighting. Yeah. I like it because what we did, I liked about it, that he was so chill. Gaffer was so chill, but he was quick. So he said, you have to be really quick.
That's so important.
That's very important, to be really efficient.
But no running. No running, guys. Anybody, anybody still in university, number one rule, don't run as quick as anybody tells you to.
And what fascinated me is that we did blocking. We looked on the lights, how they have to be. He talked with the cinematographer, and then he came to me, okay, all right, this is the plan. We put that light there, do that. We did that in 10 minutes, and then they do the rehearsal, then they did the shooting and everything, and that was like for an hour or something. And then we were just sitting around, chilled out on the telephones. He was on his phone chatting with his family or something. I was on my phone too. Like I wanted to observe it, but it was really bizarre feeling because he was on the phone all the time, and I was like, I want to learn things, sort of, rather than just sit on my phone.
But sometimes as well, like in that time, it's not like you can necessarily do anything super productive because everybody's got to be quiet. So it's just like stay still, stay quiet in a very small corner in the side of the room, and then you suddenly get a call, and then, in your first experience, you realise you've just done all this work, and they go, we've changed everything. You've got to move it all around.
Yeah.
And suddenly...
But that's the job. That's part of being a lighting technician. You have to be on the move and be ready at any point to change things.
Yeah, you can make like a creative suggestion. You say, oh, how about we put that light there? But, in 2 hours, that light is on the other side of the room, or it's in a box, because everything's changed.
And after that one particular job, I felt like I'm really professional. Like I learned 10 times more than I knew about cameras. And I was like, wait a minute, if I know so much about lighting, why I don't just pursue myself in lighting?
Yeah.
And now going to Chernobyl, right? How did I get on Chernobyl?
That's
so yeah,
that's
guys.
A big one. That
I was working for Chernobyl HBO, the brand new TV series, mini-series, and I was there as second unit spark, so it was amazing. It was huge. It was enormous, but at the same very harsh. Great experience. Basically, how I got it on. Well, I had this chat with Jules afterwards, right? I asked her opinions on what to do. I had my struggles, and I talked myself out.
You've got a lot of kind of stories about it.
Yeah, and I didn't figure out how to do things. And then she was like, "Why don't you ask? You're from Latvia. Why don't you ask Latvians if they got any jobs? And I basically messaged one of the best lighting companies in Latvia.
This is after going on like 1 or 2 short films and doing a bit here or there.
I had maybe 2 short films as a spark. That was it. There was nothing else. And I messaged them, hey, I'm going to be in Latvia over summer for three months. Do you have any job? And that was me saying that in January. So I really early, I messaged them on Facebook, hey, SDG Lighting it's called in Latvia. And do you have any jobs? And they said, no, they don't have, but they're going to keep my contacts. And I sent them my CV, and that's it. I never heard back from them.
You thought that was it?
I thought that's it, yeah. And then I messaged, when I got back to Latvia, I messaged them, hey, I'm in Latvia, so, if you need, do you have any updates? And they said, no, they don't have any jobs to give me, but they'll keep my contacts. And
they obviously don't get jobs going constantly, but they do the big ones.
They mostly do commercials. Latvia is not popular with big stuff.
Okay.
Because all those big productions actually happened in Lithuania anyway. So it was all Lithuanian production companies, didn't go through, and they never. And I said to them, I have heard that you're going to do Catherine the Great in Lithuania and Latvia this August and something, because Jules told me she's going to be working there, right? So Jules went in August to work on Catherine the Great in Lithuania, and they're going to be filming in Latvia for 2 weeks. I know that, and I told them that if I've heard about it and if they have any. Know about any jobs, and they said no, they haven't heard about it anything. So I kind of know things that they didn't know, and they were a bit intrigued about me. I feel like they thought that I'm professional because I knew more about. Yes, because then suddenly big job came. Big job came in June or July.
Huge job. Not just
that. And huge job came in July for asking for us for some extra sparks to go and work. In Lithuania, Ignalina power plant station, for a week, basically. They need extra sparks.
With no context.
No context, nothing. Just location, just the time, and that's it.
Nobody knew about Chernobyl.
Nobody knew about Chernobyl at this point. I didn't know that there is Chernobyl going on. I thought maybe it's Catherine the Great or something, all right. But in that summer there was Chernobyl going on up till August, and the same Lithuanian production company already worked on Catherine the Great at the same time. So they had they finished Chernobyl and then they worked on production of Catherine the Great. It was really busy in Lithuania on that summer, and I was great to be part of it. And I got on it. I accepted it, and I accepted the day rate they offered me.
So what was the day rate, for the viewers?
I think it was €100. It was, I think, for 11-hour day, it's €90 or something.
So it's rough. It's not.
It's €90 for 11 hour, but overtime is really good. Overtime is like 2 times or 3 times even.
Okay.
If it's after midnight, it's 3 times. If it's before midnight, it's 2 times. So it's overtime rates are better than here.
So as soon as you were going overtime,
as soon as we go, I thought, okay. And they said that they need overtime already. They know they need overtime. So they calculated it. The day rate for us was like €120 or something like that for 10-11 hour days. Days, right? And we went there, and on top of that, they gave us money for food and stuff.
Yeah, but as expected, it's the law in Latvia, but not really here. It doesn't happen here. So we got hotel room, we got breakfast, lunch, but for a
dinner.
Production of that standard here, you wouldn't be paid £120.
No, and then on top of that, they gave us extra money, cash money, that we can just use for our own everyday, expenses. Because that's a law. If you go work for some company sends you out abroad. It was particularly for job abroad, because it wasn't based in Latvia. So abroad job, the company has to give extra money on top of the day rate. So that was extra buck a bit, but it was like €50 for a whole week, something like that. So it wasn't a big deal, but it was a bit of cash extra.
It's a lot cheaper to live in Lithuania and Latvia, right?
I didn't have any expenses there anyway. I kept all those €50 really, because we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner on set, and I had provided with facilities where to stay. So I didn't have any expenses at all, and transportation was all done there. We were shuttle buses driving from hotel to the location. I got on that one, and apparently nobody know what time or when we're gonna have to be working there. We just know that for that whole week we have to be free, available. And we went there about 7 Latvian people, and it was funny because 2 of our Latvian guys were separated from us because there was not enough rooms in a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, they stayed in Latvia, which was 50 kilometers away from the location.
God.
Because literally 100 kilometers around that location, there was no place you could book. Everything was booked because of that production. They booked everything out. There was no place to stay. People drive from Vilnius, which is the capital of Lithuania, which is 100 kilometers every day to the set. There was people driving from Latvia because there was no place to live anymore. There was not enough, Suddenly, hundreds of people on set. There was about 300 people at the time.
It's huge.
And there's
production.
It's basically it's 2 units at the same time over day and night.
So you were telling me they chose to use that area, and I suppose the workforce, because they could pay them that. I mean, if that was a BBC production, you'd be talking. It's a lot. The rate would be a lot higher. I mean, producing it would cost so much more.
No, of course, if you would do it here, it would cost a lot more than there. People there is 3 times cheaper, approximately. That's about how.
So the moral of the story: if you produce it, go to Latvia or Lithuania.
Maybe not. It's because those people are not as professional also, so you're kind of getting what you're getting for the money.
It's cheaper, but you're not getting the same work.
The people I worked with, I disliked. I don't want to work with
these
people anymore.
You've got a lot of horror stories, haven't you?
I have so.
A lot of horror stories.
It's just the feeling being on set there was not good.
Mm-hmm.
People, were mean to each other.
They
were not helping each other. When you didn't know something and you ask a question, they
and for
anybody made you feel bad for that.
For anybody wanting to get into the film industry, like in lighting in the UK, it is the opposite here. Like, everybody is so welcoming, I have to say.
Yeah.
Kind of on that note,
it is changing.
It is changing.
It used to not be like that. It used to be just also those very.
And that's through our experience, I have to say.
Yeah.
Like.
But from our experience, we are new guys. We are just starting out.
We're new to it, but I feel like people have really kind of taken us with open arms.
Yeah, because it's booming. It's booming. Industry is so big now, and it's getting bigger and bigger every year.
Mm-hmm.
And there is not enough old people working. They need new blood. So
and
the reason.
With lighting as well, it's quite a youthful game in the fact that it's a lot of heavy lifting, really.
So basically, literally after Chernobyl, I decided that's it. That's what I want to do because I have so much experience. I got Chernobyl behind me now, right?
Why the fuck would you be?
Why would I want to go
that?
do something else?
Yeah.
Exactly. I'll just do.
I mean,
that
that's really it was a kickstart.
I didn't.
For your career.
I felt like I was dumb. I didn't know a thing.
Yeah.
I know. Now I know like 10 times more than I was by that time there. After going from Chernobyl, I came back to UK and I got a job on BBC TV drama pilot for a day. Where I was helping out Henriette Jacobsen, who's really good Spark. She comes from, I think she's Norway. She comes from Norway, and she is very professional and she's in industry working very well. So she invited me to work with her, and there was that gaffer Carolina. She's very well known, also gaffer in UK with women lighting.
Yeah, women.
She works with women mainly, so her as women team in lighting, which is really interesting, and I would love to.
We want to get as many.
We want to get them. Yeah, I would
lighting technicians.
I would love to get them, especially women, on here to just talk about the industry and just have their opinion and see how they see film. Because I feel like it's not as bad as it was now. I feel like. It's more diverse.
It's definitely diverse. It's opening.
Diverse.
It's opening up.
Yeah. I sometimes I have been on a couple of sets in UK where 70 or 80% of all people crew are women.
Mm-hmm.
There's literally no men.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It feels so bizarre, and everybody talks.
That's something which, from my experience, I've actually found that I've been on a large proportion of sets. I'd even say 40 to 50% where there's a high majority of women, and when I tell people that, they're very surprised.
Yeah.
But I think it's because of the low budget. I think it's coming
in
through low budget,
but also bigger budgets. They like Carolina.
They are pushing.
Works.
Yeah,
they're pushing. So she's already there. And she is working with a lot of women involved, and I've met. I think I know one well-known woman gaffer, Carolina, and then I know 2 more young gaffers, but / very already quite long in industry as lighting technicians. people. So I'll try to get them on board to our podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we want to get as many people in as we can. I mean, we've got a little list here that Edzus has made.
List. Yeah, I had a chance to work with Ian Murray. You know, he was on BSC Expo this year.
Yeah, we both went to the BSC Expo. Yeah. Brilliant. If anybody hasn't been,
that's
such a good event.
We could talk about BSC Expo, but that needs to be different.
I think it needs to be the next episode.
The next episode.
Really
we don't have time to do it there.
But I mean, going back to that point about kind of being kind of inclusive and diverse, you were saying Ian's more open to work with younger people.
Yeah, I told you that. Yeah. Well, basically, I worked with Ian. I had a chance to work with him because I met him on BSC, and he introduced me to his gaffer. And literally 2 weeks later, I got a job with him.
And it can just be as simple as that.
As simple as that. Just ask for work. Exactly. No, he actually. I talked with him. He was like, "What do you do?" I said, "Well, I'm lighting technician. I work." And he was like, "Oh, do you want to work with us?" He literally invited me, and I was like, "Yeah, why not?"
And sometimes
he loves working with young people.
I think the old boys are really opening up to the kind of younger generation.
He's an interesting person because he's sort of old boy, but at the same time young boy. Mm-hmm. He's not in this. He has worked with a lot of old gaffers, and he has experience in industry for 25 years. He started in film, but he's been in commercials mainly. He's commercial cinematographer, short content stuff. So I feel like he's more surrounded with young people.
He works with the reflective lighting, which I work with all the time, with Reflectric, who we want to get on.
Definitely.
We want to get on the podcast. Yeah. Who else have we got there?
We got, of course, I want to get Ian together with Josh McLaren, who is gaffer of him. So we'll get cinematographer and gaffer. I spoke with them a couple of days ago, and they're more than happy to come. It's just about the timing, get them right. They will be here. Nathan Ford, young gaffer I met in Beck event.
And I think that's the thing is we want young gaffers on here, and we want young
Sparks, we want also young. We want young, but we want also old.
Yeah.
We want to compare their opinion about the industry and see their vision of how things used to be.
We want to open up the industry because we were talking among ourselves, and we were saying that this industry there seems to be a lot of information that isn't necessarily shared, and everybody has this information to share, but they don't tend to share it. They don't share it online, at least. Maybe
the best stories are the personal. Exactly.
But we want to share those.
When you meet them in person on a set, they normally tell you everything you need to know. And I feel like these are the conversations I want to share with everybody, and everybody should know this. So this is the reason, really, for this podcast.
And when we were thinking about starting the Tungsten Show, we were just thinking that there's so many people with so many great stories, and you look at all the podcasts out there, and there's camera, there's like these kind of more commercial cinematography side of things.
There's two big UK podcasts.
You've got Tail Slate. What's the one that?
The other one is, which is on Spotify, is the cinematography podcast. I think that's how it's called.
The cinematography podcast. Yeah.
And there's a cinematographer who talks with everybody. So he has one interviews people. So he has one interview with gaffer, one interview with producer, one with director, one with somebody else.
Somebody didn't put their phone on silent.
But the thing is, he has one with gaffer. But I feel like I want to have this podcast. It will be with multiple people. Don't have to be only technicians. Jesus Christ. Is that camera really turning off?
Gutted.
Right.
Let's go. You know what?
Right.
Let's
wrap it up.
I think we should wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
I think we've had a good one. We've covered quite a lot. We've still got BSC we want to talk about, but I think let's do it on the next one. Yeah. Let's get BSC in. We'll talk about that. Hopefully we'll be able to get some guests in soon.
Yeah.
It's quite an exciting thing, really.
It's exciting. It's my first experience doing podcast, and we have to thank London Soundback University for giving all these facilities. It's brilliant.
Yeah. They've been a real help.
If you are listening this on Spotify or any audio version, you definitely have to go on YouTube.
Yeah, go on YouTube.
Search us.
The Tungsten Show.
The Tungsten Show there, and you'll find a video version of this if you want to see how it looks like.
Which for future podcasts is going to be good because we want to get we want gaffers to bring in their tools.
Yeah.
Maybe bringing in a piece of kit and
Exactly.
just saying like what they really like. Maybe we'll get some visuals in there. I think that's gonna be quite nice.
And just see them.
Yeah.
In
And we're gonna
person, like-
experiment. We're gonna get different variations of this podcast up and just find out what you guys want and cater it to that. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
That's
Well,
it.
thank you for listening and coming along. We will see you in the next one.
Yeah. See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.